Chapter 5 The Butler and the Jester. When the storm had struck, Caliban curled up and tried to shelter under his cloak. The rain beat against his back and water ran all around him like a river. His head boomed with the thunder and he shook with fear, and when it passed, it left him in a foul temper, cursing Prospero and scheming revenge. Still grumbling to himself, he went back to gathering wood, and this is what he was doing when he heard a noise in the bushes. He stopped work and lifted his head to listen. Something was coming. It wasn't Prospero or Miranda. He knew the sound of their footsteps well. This was something altogether different. With every step it took, there was an odd jingling of little bells. "Oh, my master thinks I work too slowly," he said, "so he sent some spirit to torment me." The spirit was coming closer, stepping and jingling, and Caliban could see nowhere to hide. At the last moment, he stretched himself face down on the soaking ground and flung his cloak over his back. Maybe if he kept himself still, it wouldn't see him. Maybe it would think he was a rock. He heard it tramping nearer and nearer. He closed his eyes and willed it to go away, to pass by and leave him alone. It didn't. It stopped. "Hello, what's this?" It spoke. It spoke human language in strange, rough voice. And it had seen him. Caliban ground his teeth together to stop them chattering. He felt the cloak twitch, and he held his breath. "What have we here?" the voice went on. "A man or a fish? Dead or alive? Whoa, it smells like a fish, and a very old fish too." A hand crept up under the cloak and felt around. It brushed against Caliban's arm. "Whoa," said the voice, and the hand was snatched away. A moment later it came creeping back, and Caliban felt his arm squeezed between a finger and a thumb, just as if the strange creature were testing a piece of fruit for ripeness. "That's funny. The thing's warm, and it's got hands, so it can't be a fish. I reckon it's one of the islanders struck by lightning in that storm. And there's another storm brewing by the look of those clouds. I'll have to find some shelter." "No," thought Caliban. "No, don't shelter here." "I know. I'll crawl under its cloak. It won't mind. If it's been struck by lightning, it won't even know, will it?" Caliban felt the corner of the cloak being lifted. The strange spirit was climbing in with him. It settled down. Its dirty yellow feet were right against Caliban's nose. He wanted to cry out, to yell at the top of his voice and run off, to bite the yellow feet. But he bit his lip instead and remained silent. "Don't move," he told himself. His eyes were now wide open with terror. "It thinks you're dead, so just keep still." The spirit draped an arm across his leg. It snuffled and sniffed. "Phew, the pong of it!" And then the springy beard began to tickle the soles of Caliban's thick feet. A moment later it began to snore. "This is bad, bad, bad," Caliban said to himself. "I'm trapped, and this is as bad as it could ever be." But he was wrong. It could be worse. The snoring hadn't been going on for long when he heard another sound, more crashing and stamping through the bushes. Someone else was coming, another spirit to punish him, and this one had a heavy tread, and it was singing. "I shall see no more to see," it sang cheerfully. "Here shall I die ashore." A terrible wailing sound it was, and Caliban couldn't keep still no longer. He panicked and wriggled, and then cried out, "Help! Don't torment me, please!" The singing stopped at once. What was that? Caliban heard it walking all the way around him. "There's something fishy going on here," it said. "Some weird monster with 4 legs, 2 at each end." "Please, master," pleaded Caliban. "I'll work faster, I promise." "It's having a fit. Here, monster, I've got something to cure that for you." Suddenly a bottle was thrust under the cloak. "Drink this," boomed the voice. "It'll cheer you up." Caliban did as he was told and drank. A peculiar burning liquid trickled down his throat and made him splutter. "That's the way, monster. Drink it up." Just then Caliban heard the tinkling of bells. The first spirit was moving about and waking up. "Stefano," it called, "is that you?" "Well, well, well," said the second spirit. "4 legs and 2 voices. This is a most peculiar monster, and it knows my name. Let's have a look at you." It whipped the cloak aside, so quickly that Caliban was blinded by the glare. He sat bolt upright, clamped his hands to his eyes, and drummed his feet on the ground. "No, no, no," he yelled. "Don't beat me, don't pinch me. I'll fetch more wood, I'll fetch more wood." When he could yell no more, he peeped through his fingers and saw the two spirits staring down at him with open mouths. They didn't look like spirits. They were made of solid flesh, like Prospero and Miranda. One was thin and bony. He wore a brightly coloured jerkin and a floppy hat covered in bells. The other had a red face and a big round belly under a leather apron. "Calm down, monster," said the big-bellied man. "We're not going to harm you, are we, Trinculo?" The other shook his head and set the bells on his hat jingling. "Who are you?" Caliban asked in a hushed voice. The man in the apron held onto his belly and laughed. "Me," he said. "My name's Stefano. I'm the man from the moon. And here's Trinculo, my servant." The man in the moon! Caliban had seen the man in the moon before. He remembered looking up at him at night and seeing a round face shining like silver in the dark sky. The man in the moon! He must have great powers then. He must be even more powerful than Prospero. And now he was here on this island. Caliban crawled to him on his hands and knees. "I'll be your servant too," he said, and kissed Stefano's fat foot. "Is there anyone else here on the island, monster?" Stefano asked him, "or is it just you?" "No, no," said Caliban, lowering his voice. "There's Prospero the wizard and his daughter. Her name's Miranda, and she's pretty, a pretty, pretty thing. If you can kill Prospero, you'll be king on the island, and Miranda will be your queen. I'll show you how. I'll show you where he sleeps. Let me be your slave. Oh, master!" "King of the island, eh?" said Stefano. "I like the sound of that. And Trinculo, you can be prime minister. All right, monster, you can be my slave. Lead on. Show us the way." Caliban's heart leapt with joy. A new king of the island. A new master to help him take his revenge on Prospero. He began to leap about and sing a gruff and growling song. "Ban, ban, Caliban, get a new master, get a new man. Ban, ban, Caliban, get a new master, get a new man." Still dancing and singing, he led the butler and the jester off. Ariel watched from his perch high in the nearby tree, and as soon as they were out of sight, he flew off to tell Prospero everything that he'd heard.